It is Luke Skywalker Friday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. After approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping, this is the Dzogchen Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your personal nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Now we turn to the very latest iteration of Green Heron Mantra Meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. The first half could be described as wisdom's warm-up. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore substitute the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and instead relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. As we practice the creation stage of Hayasuka Tantra, also known as wisely leaping over pride's obstructions to omniscience, we bring the circumstantial into the path of wisdom, thus practicing the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. We're going to use similes and then eventually convert those similes into metaphors. But why? Because most complex life forms on this planet have evolved to think symbolically. So what follows is not a prayer to a real or imagined celestial entity. These are simply words that we use to guide our intention. Please chant with me. May we see how all circumstances or laws could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could telephony absorb into this body or form. We could divide the 6-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted between our inhalation and our exhalation. We now bring the physical into the path of wisdom, again practicing the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. This could also be described as Mahayoga. Together. May we feel how all bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could telephony absorb into this communication or speech. We now practice Tokal's wise leap over pride's obstructions to omniscience together, as we bring the interpersonal into the path of wisdom. May we hear how all interpersonal communication or speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could telephony absorb into this mind. We now practice the Tantra Mahamudra of wisely leaping over pride's obstructions to omniscience. Together. May we feel how all lucid perceiving, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could telephony absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although tantalizing to the eye could be not graspable to the hand. Despite the ravings of elitist patriarchy, the Buddha never commanded that his students master the full lotus posture. To the contrary, his instructions on sitting were very vague. Blend that with the discovery that by archaeologists that the earliest statues of Gautama, the Buddha, depict him as sitting in a posture that many people describe as merely the quarter lotus posture, wherein one lower leg rests upon the other, kind of like the two pieces of bread forming a sandwich. Ask an orthopedic surgeon and they will tell you that our knees are only hinge joints and should be treated gently. It is our hip joints that are ball and sockets and are therefore the source of dynamic adjustments to our limbs. The first time we try to assume the quarter lotus posture as adults, especially older adults such as myself, we could produce a posture that is ungainly and asymmetric and not really pretty. So let us reconcile ourselves or resign ourselves to imperfection and impermanence. I say that because if we play with this posture without forcing it, in a gentle manner, even a sloppy version, for as little as 5 minutes once every 12 hours, then within a week or two, there's a very good chance our body will remember how to sit comfortably in this position, as we probably did as small children. The famous statue of the Buddha at Kamakura, Japan, illustrates that every time we inhale, we are wired to generate a vertical traction between our tush and the back of our head. This causes our face to gently point down to a place on the floor or the ground approximately 1 to 2 meters in front of us. Doing so opens wide our scapula or shoulder blades, decompressing the lung meridians. Let us discuss mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord, we are wired to notice in a very special way. We are wired to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. We're wired to notice whatever perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, or imaginings cartwheel across the metaphoric stage of our mind. We can notice the external or the internal, the physical or the mental, the pleasurable or the painful, the interesting or the boring, the glorious or the grotesque. What do we do with that which we notice? Every time we exhale, thanks to the parasympathetic nervous system divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining, even just a little bit, even for just a moment or two, before the metaphoric pendulum swings and we begin our next cycle. This sounds very, very complicated, like I'm asking you to walk backwards while whistling the national anthem. Fortunately, there's a shortcut. All we got to do is silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel air enter our nostrils, as well as silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease each time we feel air exit our nostrils. Together, let us practice right now. The second half of this morning's group practice could be described as compassion's cool down. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge our controlling tendencies with all follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and instead relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. Let us chant an explanation of the 10-syllable mantra. Oma Macha Tara, the swift and courageous, you drive away all fears with Tutare. Heroine fulfilling all ends with Ture, with a suitable Soha, may all be as beneficial as you. So, let us not make the mistake of confusing an archetype showing us active wisdom and active love, with a real or imagined mythical entity. We're going to bring the mental into the path of love, which is the second fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. Let us not confuse these chants for prayers to entities real or imagined. These chants serve exclusively to guide our intention in the direction of love. Please chant with me. May all minds of all beings now possess the joyful enlightenment symbolized by a one-syllable seed or bija mantra. So, despite the ravings of patriarchy, it's not our job to concentrate and focus and visualize and exhaust ourselves by contriving emotions. We're just going to play with the 3 R's of reading, reciting, and relaxing. Every time we breathe in, we're going to silently and mentally read the 6-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted. During our exhalation, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to chant 4 repetitions of this 10-syllable mantra per breath for 4 breaths, while simultaneously physically relaxing as best we can. Or in other words, reading, reciting, and relaxing. If this is your first time hanging out with me, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om tare du dare du re soha, Om tare du dare du re soha, Om tare du dare du re soha, Om tare du dare du re soha. Om tare tu tare tu re soha, Om tare tu tare tu re soha, Om tare tu tare tu re soha, Om tare tu tare tu re soha. Om tare tu tare tu re soha, Om tare tu tare tu re soha, Om tare tu tare tu re soha, Om tare tu tare tu re soha. Om tare tu tare tu re soha, Om tare tu tare tu re soha, Om tare tu tare tu re soha, Om tare tare tu tare tu re so ha. Together. May each being's experience of interpersonal communication or speech now possess the peaceful love symbolized by your horizontal multisyllabic mantra mala. Om Tare Du Dare Du Re So Ha. 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 Together. May all bodies or forms of all beings know possess great health, symbolized by the enlightened archetypal Yedama, Drojing, Shamatara, or Green Heroine. So Green Heroine translated into Sanskrit is Shamatara, translated into Tibetan is Drojang, a Drojang. Together. Om Tare Du Dare Du Re So Ha. 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 Let us bring the circumstantial into the path of love and thus train in the Buddhas in the fifth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path together. May all circumstances or lots of all beings know possess very good fortune or boon, symbolized by the mythic paradise pure land or Vati of a Buddha. Om Tare Du Dare Du Re So Ha. 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 Om Tare nu nare nu 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 re so ha. Welcome to the second half of this morning's group practice. Let us explore the mechanics of mindfulness and meditation. Every time we inhale, thanks to the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord, we are wired to notice in a very special way, to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, fleetingly, all manner of phenomena. We could notice perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. We can notice the external and the internal, the physical and the mental, the pleasurable and the painful, the interesting and the boring, the glorious and the grotesque. What do we do with all that we've noticed? Every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel somewhat less stressful, less permanent, and even less defining. This is not about belief. This is not about logic. This is simply about cooperating with our sympathetic nervous system. You see, Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, including meditation teachers. So do not be surprised when 90% of meditation teachers implore us to actively focus and actively analyze. And they might give those fancy ancient terms like samatha or vipassana. However, the only way, ask a neuroscientist, they'll tell you, the only way to perform those actions are to rely upon our medial prefrontal cortex as well as our dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. The problem with that is that not only can it exhaust our prefrontal cortex, but once it does, that will trigger our amygdala, which is the seat of anxiety and aggression, and I don't know anybody who wants to increase those things. So here's the really neat thing. When we cooperate with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems by noticing and relaxing, not only do we calm our amygdala, but we stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus, which functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, the root of compassion and love, which is pretty cool. So that begs the question, what is the most efficient, sustainable, easy, effective way to cooperate with the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems? It's super easy. All we gotta do is silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel air enter our nostrils, as well as silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease each time we feel air exit our nostrils. So let's do this together right now. If this intrigues you and you'd like to learn more, use one of the links in the description area below the video to download the latest free PDF of the draft of my meditation manual, Easy Enlightenment. Everything I do is free. Not because I'm compassionate, just because I'm pathologically stupid that way. So let's dig in. Okay. Concentration is easily shattered like a wine glass being dropped on a hardwood floor. But mindfulness does not concentrate. It simply notices vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. It's like dropping a pillow on a hardwood floor. So whatever noises you hear in the background, it's just allow yourself to notice them, allow yourself to release them. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 9 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class as well as group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.